Adam Giardino here alongside one of our 4 recipients for the spring semester from the winter into the spring, and it's the one grant recipient, not the scholarship recipient, Jared Dillard. He's a graduate student, was planning on going back to further his grad degree, and instead he finds himself in a classroom setting. So Jared, we are thrilled with everything that you've been able to accomplish. Broadcasting is never a linear path. I know you still got your toes dipped in the water, but fill us in. Why you got a whiteboard behind you?
So pretty much end of November, early December, I was reached out to by Auburn High School here in Auburn, Alabama, and they said, we have an opening for TV production. And I'm going to be quite honest. I was like, well, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I got accepted to Arizona State. The worst that could happen is they say no, and I go to Tempe anyway. They said yes. And I fell completely backwards into teaching high school TV production here at the high school. I was on campus for maybe a total of 10 to 12 hours before my first day. All I had was my trusty water bottle, 3 pages of lesson plans, and nothing else. And I just had to make it work. And I'm 3.5, 4 months in, and we're just living right now. Honestly, we're just making it.
So, Jared, as you were getting involved with the Black Play-by-Play Fund, and we had reached out and we had connected a few months ago, you still had a lot of other things on your plate. And it's my understanding that even though you're working it full time right now as a teacher, that you're still staying active in other areas of broadcasting.
I am. So while I'm teaching here at the high school, I still do my side work over at Work Productions, the SEC Network branch on Auburn University's campus. This past weekend, actually, if you were to watch the Saturday Auburn softball versus Kentucky Game 2 game, I was working that game. If you saw any misspellings, please email me at the email below. Hopefully that may be there. So I worked all this past weekend, and I do that on the side. On top of that, I still do play-by-play here and there. I got the Columbus Lions. I ran a football gig. They start their season in the summer. 4 away games, 4 home games. I'm just doing home games, and then we'll see about playoffs. But I still do that. I'm looking to still get into radio during the summer. I may have a position open for me during the summer here at a local station here in Auburn, Alabama. And even on top of that, here at the high school, not only do I oversee TV production, but I oversee the TV production club here, the High Def Club at Auburn High School. So they do all the live streaming events for Auburn High School, football, basketball, baseball, softball. So I've been setting up for those. I have a softball game in 2 days I got to set up for. Usually like a 5-camera broadcast. And the cool thing is that for some of these events, such as softball and soccer, they don't have a play-by-play broadcaster. So the other day, one of my students jumped in at color along with a ESPN play-by-play guy here in the local area. And one of my students got to do his first broadcast doing color for Auburn High School softball. So I think I'm trying to get going here at the high school is getting students interested in play-by-play. So we actually put out a flyer and we put play-by-play and color analysts on there. And we're trying to get like a little broadcasting thing going here at the high school for all the lower sports that don't have a play-by-play or color. And kind of have something in my lesson plan just to talk about that. We're looking to buying equipment for it. And for some of the games that don't have an analyst or a play-by-play person, I may head that up. So I still may be doing play-by-play here at the local high school as well.
Now, that's really just totally impressive. And when I think of the mission of the Black Play-by-Play Broadcaster Grant and Scholarship Fund and what we're looking to do in terms of diversifying what the broadcast industry looks like, what does the demographic of Auburn High School look like in terms of the types of students that are taking these behind the camera roles and some of the ones that you're hoping to get on camera as well?
It's a mission that Auburn High School is also engaging in currently. It's a long road. Mm-hmm. I know that for all 3 of my classes in total, there's probably in one of my classes, there's only out of those 17, 2 African Americans, 1 Asian, 1 Hispanic. In another class, it's just 1 African American. So we're trying to find a way to include everybody as we go along this steady path. And something the high schools noticed as well, and then reach out to me and say, "Hey, what can we do to help you out with that mission?" So we're always looking to bring people into TV production. And honestly, it's a work in progress. Is the best way I can put it right now.
You're at Auburn High School. You're a graduate of Auburn. When did the broadcasting bug bite you? Was it something around when you were younger surrounding Auburn athletics? I just have to imagine that War Eagle's always been a part of your life, and I wonder whether it's been part of your broadcasting aspirations as well.
So this is gonna be really funny. I liked Auburn probably since I moved down here when I was about 6 or 7. So Auburn's always been kind of in my blood. The broadcasting side, this is how I got into broadcasting. It was the summer of it was the fall of my 10th grade year. And I was still playing football for Smith Station High School about 30 minutes down the road. And I remember me and my sister were having a conversation. My sister was in TV production classes at Smith Station called Panther News Network. And we were having a conversation, and you know how brothers and sisters are, or siblings in general. I can be better at you in anything that you do. So I told my sister, "Oh yeah, I could be better at anything that you do in Panther News Network." And she said, "No, you couldn't." So I said, "All right, I'll show you." And then the next year, I quit football, went to do TV production at the local high school, or Smith Station High School, where I was at. And 2 years later, I was awarded the Josh Doak Memorial Award for Most Outstanding Student of the program. And that's how I got into broadcasting. I went to Auburn, did broadcasting there for TV and radio. And then I ended up here at Wiggle Productions and at Auburn High School. So when I say I'm literally sitting here because my sister made me upset one random day in the fall, I'm literally sitting here because of that.
Spite can drive a lot of things in life. That's a good thing. No, I like that.
This is almost 10 years running, and it's got me here.
The path when you were at Auburn, what were you able to be involved with? I think back to my time where I was also an undergrad at a Division I university and was able to be involved in some really neat events just as an undergrad student. What memories do you have of your time from your time at Auburn?
There's a lot of them. I remember when I first got to Auburn, I did Eagle Eye TV in the fall of my freshman year. And then the following spring, I got into WEGL radio. And so at Eagle Eye, I did like director of program development. I did sports. I anchored. I produced a show. So I got all that experience. And then eventually I kind of went over to the radio side, and I did play-by-play broadcast for Auburn University softball. The last year that Auburn went to the World Series and lost to Oklahoma, I was a broadcaster that year. And then I did Auburn soccer and Auburn volleyball. And so radio is kind of where I fell into it. I graduated with my bachelor's degree, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, it was fun. I didn't do everything I wanted. And then I ended up going back. And when I ended up going back for my graduate degree, I didn't expect to join Weagle Radio again. But in September, about 3 weeks after school started, the station manager, who happens to be my friend that may have an opening for me at a local show during the summer, he reached out to me and said, "I need somebody to be sports director. Could you do it?" And I didn't plan on doing it because I was a graduate teaching assistant. So I'm teaching at the university, trying to go to school and all that. But I said, you know what? There's a reason this is happening. So let me take it. So I became sports director at WGL Radio. And I took off from there. The next 2 years, we increased our numbers from about 12 to 50. We instituted writing. We did more play-by-play with like local hockey, so Auburn Hockey Club. We did that. Auburn High School softball, which ironically they don't do anymore. We do it over here. We did that. We did Beauregard High School basketball. So we increased play-by-play. We did more shows. I hosted a show either 4 or 5 days a week in the morning, and we won a couple of awards. I was named the IBS National Sports Director of the Year for radio in 2020. So that was a lot of fun. And actually, in the next coming weeks, Weagle Radio will be celebrating 50 years. And so they're doing a special 24 hours of programming. And for 1 or 2 hours in that programming, I will be there doing my radio show, The Extra Point, which this Wednesday, we're doing our special final recording of everybody coming back together because COVID kind of messed all that up at the end for us. So we're all coming back together for one more show, and we'll be doing that and airing it for the 50th anniversary of the radio station.
Absolutely outstanding. So, I think, again, with the mission of what the Black Play-by-Play Fund is looking to do, and then overlapping with your mission now as a teacher, what do you hope to accomplish moving forward? It's obviously, like you said, you got thrown right into the fire. You didn't have a whole lot of prep time leading up to the spring semester in the classroom, and you'll have a lot more time to plan out your fall semester over this summer. But when you sit down, you take a step back. What are you hoping that you're going to be able to do for your students starting in the fall and beyond?
Well, I hope that I can give them just industry experience. I'm hoping that I can get them internships whenever COVID kind of opens everything back up. And I just want to have them to experience all the cool things that they're doing. So we recently devised a plan where we're trying to currently get a whole setup in our control room back here to where we're able to do live sports broadcasts from all of our different venues in our own room back here. And so that's a work in progress. The high school's been very generous, and they're really excited about the plan. So we're trying to get that all together. But on top of that, I just want to create a culture where students feel open. They can come in and say, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, well, this is how we're going to do it. So they say, I want to come in and do graphic design. All right, this is what we got to do to get you into graphic designing and get you to a college. I want to come in and do play-by-play. All right, this is what we got to do. Here's the people that I know. Let's go get that done. So I want to be that person where they can come and say, I want to do this. And they know it's not going to be, well, wait a minute, how are we going to do it? It's, okay, this is how we're going to do it. I want to be that kind of person to them.